Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there lived a curious little frog named Freddy. Freddy loved to explore, and he was always hopping around, looking for new adventures. One day, Freddy hopped into the palace of the king. The palace was a magnificent sight, with beautiful gardens, grand halls, and sparkling jewels adorning every room. Freddy had never seen anything like it before. As he hopped around, admiring the beauty of the palace, he came across a shiny, sparkling jewel lying on the ground. It was the most beautiful thing Freddy had ever seen. Without thinking, he hopped over to it and took a big bite. To Freddy's surprise, the jewel tasted even better than it looked. He couldn't resist and took another bite, and then another. Before he knew it, the entire jewel was gone. Feeling satisfied, Freddy continued to explore the palace. But soon, he started to feel a strange sensation in his stomach. It was aching and he felt sick. He realized that he shouldn't have eaten the jewel, it was not meant for him. Just then, the king entered the room. He saw Freddy and asked, "What have you done, little frog? Have you seen my most precious jewels?" "No, I didn't," replied Freddy. For the second time, the king asked Freddy again, "Have you seen my precious jewel?" Freddy denied. The king looked at him suspiciously, but left without any other word. Freddy did not know that he swallowed a magic jewel, and the king was looking for it. As the day went on, Freddy's stomachache became worse and worse. He realized that he needed to find a way to return the jewel to the king. At night, the jewel would produce a very bright light that would make anyone to notice Freddy when far. Freddy was not comfortable, as he could not be able to hide at night. He thought of a plan, and he decided to find the king and give the jewel back to him. Unfortunately, Freddy could not be able to access the palace again, as the security was improved after the king lost the jewel. Freddy had to think of a way to access the king and confess that he is the one who swallowed the jewel. In the wee hours of the morning, Freddy sneaked into the palace and made his way to the king's chambers. He knocked on the door, and one of the king's servants opened with a surprised look on his face. The servant threatened Freddy that if he confesses that he was the one who stole the jewel, he will be punished for trespassing. But Freddy stood his ground and told the servant that he had something important to give to the king. The servant was hesitant at first, but eventually let Freddy through. As Freddy entered the king's chambers, he saw the king sitting on his throne, surrounded by his guards. He was about to confess, but the king spoke first. "You are the one who took my jewel, aren't you?" Freddy nodded with guilt written all over his face. But to Freddy's surprise, the king didn't scold him or punish him. Instead, he smiled and thanked Freddy for being honest. The king then revealed that the jewel was a magical one, and it could only be touched by someone pure of heart. Freddy's act of returning the jewel proved that he was indeed a pure and kind frog. The king then granted Freddy a special place in the palace, where he could live and explore to his heart's content. Freddy couldn't believe his luck. He was now not only the luckiest frog in the world, but also the happiest. He learned that sometimes, doing the right thing can lead to unexpected rewards. The moral of the story is to be content with what we have and not to be tempted by things that are not meant for us. We should also think before we act and consider the consequences of our actions, as they can have a lasting impact on our lives. We, the Storytelling Cafe, appreciate you for standing with us. Please remember to like, share and subscribe if you haven't. Together, we make this home of stories a big family.